Air signs, I'm going to go ahead and do your reading for the month of March. I'm going to start with the Colette Baron Reed Map Questers deck. Okay, so Dragon's Lair is coming out in the reverse. This is you maybe not wanting to look inside or start new. I don't know if you can see the pictures on here, but it's there's several different caves. There's 4 different entrances. Excuse me. The dragon is flying into the top, and then here, and here, there are three more entrances that are more subverted. This is a like more of like a terrace or a deck. It's I feel for you air signs that you might not want to take on like new adventures that seem a little bit daunting right now. Those glaring red eyes that are sticking out from 2 of those caves, it seems like something that you're not wanting to. I'm just looking at the dragon itself. You may not want to take that on. I'm also like feeling the need to belch. You might just not want to. You might be developing like okay, you know in the movie Elsa where she's like got her ice castle, but she's also wants to seclude herself in her ice castle and not be so wide open with her magic, or doesn't really feel like it's a blessing at that specific time, or that it's something that's going to behoove her in the future. You could be feeling a little bit that way. I don't think it's that you aren't building because she's standing on top of this, and this is just the bottom of the deck. But I feel some apprehension coming through with the or like something left you a little bit. I don't want to say disgruntled, but I want to say like apprehensive. Like you're like yeah, making a choice. You just might not want to make a choice about which one of these 2 paths, which one of these 2 layers that you'd like to enter at this time. Maybe you're choosing both. I don't know. But number 19 and number 30 are both in the reverse. So it just tells me you're not really looking forward. It's almost like you feel like you're walking into something that's you're just not sure what to expect. Like you don't know what's coming up. It's a mystery to all of us. Yeah, into the unknown and the upright. That's kind of what I was feeling, is that there's a need for you to kind of stand your ground or hold that vision that you might have. Number 7 being in the upright, if you can see, she's blindfolded. But there's a bird on one side and a bouquet of flowers that's actually growing hearts right next to her. And she's kind of the one, she's got a snake wrapped around one arm and she's holding like a keychain with a key hanging off of it, off the other arm. This is foreshadowing, is what I want to say. It's foreshadowing that you have the ability to listen to nature and make your way, even with a blindfold on. However, I do feel like you might need to kind of be willing to stumble a little bit through the darkness, feel your way as you're going. I don't think right now is the time to be super. I was just thinking about air signs like Geminis, for example, are extremely cerebral people. They use both sides of their brain at one time to manifest most things. And although it comes across to other people like they're being two-faced, they're also really good at being able to balance out those decisions and being able to kind of I don't know if you've seen Austin Powers, but he's like, this is me in a nutshell. It doesn't mean that he's lost his confidence or his way. It just means that there's a challenge, or maybe it's challenging for you to feel blindfolded. I'm also seeing that or remembering, excuse me, that movie with Sandra Bullock in it, The Blind Side. It's got a young man named Michael who is from a foster family that gives him an opportunity to live with them and have a life that he would not have had otherwise. That's kind of what this is that he'd never had a bed before, like an actual mattress of any type to sleep on. And as great as that is that someone would offer him that opportunity, it was also really rough for him to let go of some of the things that happened in the past and move on to comfort. And you don't know what you're going to find if you're willing to either offer an opportunity or take an opportunity that could flip everything upside down, or everything that you have known up until this point may have a shift in comprehension. Oh, there's number 22. So I do just want to say comprehension. It's like a hen. Why did the hen cross the road? To get to the other side, but also probably to lay an egg, right? This is the intention that you take going forward. Okay, this is the ride the wave. Those two are going hand in hand at the bottom of the deck when this came out. So you being willing to see how the owl is holding the dandelion seeds. It's like you're not sure when you first plant a plant, any plant at all. You don't know if those seeds are ever going to take root, if you're ever going to see a stalk shoot above the ground. That's not something that's guaranteed, but it's something that you hope for. And until that egg hatches, you're going to sit on it, or until you're feeling at the top of your game, you might just kind of keep the seeds of your mind to yourself, which for an air sign can feel quite confining. Not because of anything bad, but just because usually air signs are, Aquarius and Libra especially want to be more expressive. You guys are typically the star of the show, quite literally. And having to jump with both feet, I'm just seeing, these, the two openings here with the dragon's lair. It can be kind of daunting if you don't know where you're going to land, right? But if you know that you've already kind of there's no nest here. That's what I'm noticing. There's no nest, but it is you're holding the hope. You're you know you're keeping the space mentally as well as quite literally, maybe, to make yourself seen. If I was thinking of like a Libra and an Aquarius, and the breaching of a whale or the breaching of dolphins, or and it's just a split second, they're above the surface and then they go right back into the water where they're comfortable. It's that moment of not being able to, it's breathless, like this owl has seeds in its mouth, but it's also about to take flight if it wants to, right? That's the flight of a water creature that's willing and able to make itself known. It is the whale watching, I guess, expeditioners' hope and prayer that they see even one whale breach the surface for a couple moments. And if they can catch it on camera, that's amazing. But if they don't, then that's also just fine. It's just fine for them to see, to experience, and to witness. It's taking the blindfold off. The whales, the sea life, and the creatures that usually stay really submerged deeply, especially for an air sign, that would be mentally. I am going to use the Eye of Ra deck. To get a secondary reading. Okay. So, focus came out in the reverse. Yeah, so this is coming out with the dragon's lair. You're not really focused on, taking Cupid's arrow and like spearheading something right now. I don't think you're all that interested in that at the moment. Here's the water. So that's what I was trying to say about being submerged. Remember that number 14 is at the bottom of the deck for the first layer of the spread here. You just don't want to make a choice quite yet. You're you're not all the way convinced that there aren't hunters out on the water trying to, hurt you. You'd like to know that if you breach the surface, or if you make yourself known, or people are aware of you, that you're not going to be put in danger. For some reason, there's something coming through about that. Princess Bride, if you've never seen that movie, it's an interesting movie. But there's a huge vermin that are occupying the caves in the area, and he has to fight them off. Not to say that vermin are always a bad thing. Sometimes maybe you're just not sure whether to choose between ratatouille soup or like have a sandwich, It doesn't really that doesn't really like go along with the analogies that I've been using, but it's just about making a choice. Maybe you're trying a brand new food and you've got sensitivities to certain ingredients. And if you're allergic to those things, then you could end up with like a really bad reaction. Or you could end up finding your brand new, the meal that you want to eat for the rest of your life. You know what I mean? It's, yeah. So this is making a choice. Number 30 coming out with death right underneath it. That's what I'm saying, is that you're like, this could either kill me, like I could go into anaphylactic shock, or I could focus on something besides death and despair and demise. It's a refining your focus before taking that leap that could either really empower you or really disempower you, depending on how you perceive it. So, into the unknown. Let's get a card for that, please. Okay, so the medicine eye. This is coming out with you're not really wanting to. So I know this is weird to look at the word love and think of it this way, but if you take off the L from the beginning of the word love, then it spells ove, which is an egg. It isn't that you don't want to heal something, or that you don't love something or some aspect of something. It's like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich could kill one person, whereas it could be the next person's like preference when it comes to lunchtime or to dinner or to any kind of snack. You know what I'm saying? That's the point, is that you don't really know for yourself if you really want to ride the wave. It could be a wave of I was just experiencing the understanding of waves the other day as being like, you could have waves of nausea just as easily as you could have waves of joy or euphoria, bliss. You can grieve in waves. That's what I'm saying, is that there's a juxtaposition, there's a paradox moment. If you've never seen the Cloverfield paradox, I would definitely go take a look at that. I'm just looking at I was thinking about the love at the bottom of the deck. Yeah, look, there's a new moon. It's like this new moon is in reverse, but it's also, there's so much potential. It just hasn't hatched yet. I don't know why, but the scene from Doctor Who where the moon hatches and there's dragons inside of it, it's almost like sitting on top of that. You're waiting for the moon to hatch and for this new species of creatures that we've never seen before to be born or to exist or to show themselves, to breach the surface. Okay, that's kind of it's a level of excitement, a level of nervousness, it's yeah, okay, it's giving birth. It's am I gonna be a good mom or a bad mom? Is my child gonna be colicky, or is it gonna be like real mild mannered and laid back? Am I gonna survive? the birth of this child or am I not? Do I want to have a C-section? Do I want to do it naturally? What's my birth plan? I'm just giving as many examples as I can. I don't know why I always go to birth, but yeah, okay. So here's the, there you go. So this, I do just want to say that both eyes of yours are there. This is really interesting the way this came out. I'm going to show you really quickly. This is number 7. Then you got number 22. So into the known, into the unknown, excuse me, with a clear intention is right now your eyes are blindfolded perhaps, or maybe they were blindfolded to something and now they're no longer, or that at least they won't be. So I don't think you're going to die. Let me just put that out there. That was maybe a bad example to use when talking about birth, but it's a transformational, the death card or the Scorpio card in most decks is a transformation of self. It is a understanding that there's a shift or a renewal. It's a I think I mentioned this the other day in a different reading that I may never post. I don't know if I will or not, but it is it's like the genesis, the synthesis, and the regenesis of self. So we all go through shedding our old skins, shedding our old selves, we all grow, we all change, and we all evolve in different ways. This is saying really clearly, sorry, these were both in the reverse. This is saying really clearly, you've maybe not met the medicine yet of the protection that you have during that process, or you've maybe not realized the full potential of yourself to reinvent the portions of the portions of your life that you want to manifest to the fullest degree. And I am just seeing like this pyramid card is at the bottom of the deck for these four cards that came out here. But along with Ride the Wave, this is literally kind of the I've heard people say that in Egypt with the pyramids, you're only seeing half of the picture. So actually, there's as much of the pyramids beneath the sand as there are as much of it as you can see above the sand. That's also how much is beneath the sand. I don't know if that's true or not. I'm just telling you what I've heard. That's kind of what I'm feeling here. Is it's almost like you could have been building and building and building and building something, or if you're in sales, for example, another example or a different example, I don't know. There's a pipeline effect. So you've got to build and build and build and build and build and build and shove and shove and shove and shove. And like it's a constant shoving of yourself or shuffing of your skin, if you want to think about it in terms of Gnosticism. And eventually you will start to see things building. You will start to see your sales coming through, or you will start to see the residual effect of this giving birth. If you looked at this small seeds of the moon as being this being the egg, the pyramid itself, but then also the pillar or the support line, the underlying work, the underlying ethics, the underlying morals and values that we've stood on as a pillar in the community, that is something that's not necessarily visible. And I think that's kind of the depth of mindset that you might be going through. I think you feel the support, you feel the love, you feel the effort. But I don't know if you feel comfortable enough to just uninhibited ride the wave, Yeah, there's a fairy on the back of one of those dolphins. The other one doesn't have a fairy on her back, but it's just symbolizing the two different juxtaposing positions. If you're going to be an astronaut, like in the Cloverfield paradox, you don't know what's going to happen when you get out there. You can prepare and prepare and prepare and prepare. That's the support that you get here on Earth. But once you land on the surface of the moon, you don't know what kind of seedlings, what kind of creatures or beings you're going to encounter. You don't know what that's going to look like until it happens. So you are kind of diving into it blindly. You are risking, blowing up as soon as you take off, or for that matter, getting to return back to the earth and feeling completely out of sorts, like you've you know like you've been in space for a really long time. All I'm saying, air signs, is that you guys are spatial creatures. You're cerebral. Um, your cerebral flight has everything to do with the way that you're able to manifest. So don't limit yourself. Just try to keep a open mind, even if you don't feel like you can see where you know, navigating at the moment. Let me see what other cards I could use. I'm going to use the angelic messenger cards really quickly. We'll get 3 cards for the in between, the spaces between. Abundance. That is what I'm saying. I think you see how this fern is really furled up. It's not yet completely, you know, shown all of its leaves, been able to feel the light of the sun on every surface that it's got. Um, it's the abundance that is almost burgeoning. It's almost bloomed. It's almost there. It's just in the very preliminary stages of being able to make the choice about whether to push above. I think I mentioned that earlier. If you plant seeds for something, you don't know if it's going to actually become a plant. You're you're needing to make sure that you're staying grounded in yourself, and just kind of keep watering it, keep loving it, keep playing it music, keep sending positive juju towards it, so that you can um, make a choice that you may not, yeah, you believe in it. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah, the abundance of your belief will also determine the abundance of the outcomes that you will be able to manifest. So let me get one last transitional card. Um, there's blessing. So I do just want to say this is the inside of a flower that has already made that full circle. It's got the stem, or whatever research goes in here. It's got the belief, or the investiture, the investment, and then it's also got it's also completely available to sunlight, to um, being appreciated. Now you can make a bouquet. Okay. Now you can completely make a choice about how you'd like to water your garden, or how you'd like to manifest that. I want to say this is also kind of like with the colors. These two are actually exact opposites of one another, if you can see that. There's white in the middle of this one, there's pink, then there's pink in the middle of this one with a white sprout. So it's about sprouting positive new ventures. It's about realizing that your vision may actually have this blueprint and a pink print. It's about realizing that they grow within one another in a really strange way. So if you've ever seen the negatives of a film, that might be what you're looking at. It's like that's why you couldn't really see how the picture was going to turn out until it did. Until it did. And that's number 22, is having both of your eyes open, available, and your intentions being made clear. All the clear intentions are here. Okay? So being able to like, hear what you're able to make a choice about, and what the things that you have to kind of wait on will help you determine how much energy to put in different areas. Yeah. Okay. So number 12 is forgiveness. I don't know why that's coming out. I kind of feel like this is a sunflower. And I do feel like there's like, you have to forgive yourself for the moments that you can't see, or when you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. Just realize that your intention, as long as you keep your intentions positive. Um, okay. So there's a song by Nikenji Heaton called Bad Intentions. That's the opposite. So I'm giving you the understanding of the opposite here. But I'm also, it's the reason I'm mentioning it is because, like, if you have a clear vision in your mind and you don't need to use your eyes for the time being, don't. Maybe use your ego for a little while to believe in whatever it is that you're working on, and forgive yourself for moments that you did not see the blessing, or that you don't necessarily have as much. Sometimes you look at a plant and you think it's dead. I've done that before. I've planted seeds and I've been like, this is not going to happen. Like, it's not going to sprout. And then lo and behold, I don't know, 2 days later or 2 weeks later, all of a sudden I've got little shoots coming up out of the soil that I didn't even expect to be there. I had kind of given up. I mean, you still continue to water it, but at the same time, sometimes they're dud seeds. They don't yield much. So just keep the faith, keep your beliefs, realize that abundance and blessings kind of go hand in hand, but they also don't necessarily arrive at the same time. And that if you can look at things less black and white and more as like a film that's undeveloped, you can see the negatives as being positives and the positives as being negatives, even when your eyes can't perceive it. Okay? I don't know how this gardening came through, but you guys must be making gorgeous gardens. Gorgeous, gorgeous gardens. Okay. Bye, air sign.